Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at the Tutankham. No, nothing's broken on it yet, or at least until I break something, which I hopefully don't do, but we're actually going to go ahead and install the high score save kit from arcadehighscoresaves.com. And we'll install this onto the board, and luckily this board is easily accessed from down here on the bottom, which is great because this one is wedged next to things and it's a kind of a pain in the neck to pull out. But it is on free play right now, but it just sits on this static screen with 2 credits on it forever. Now this tube already has burn-in on it, but we'd like to prevent some of that burn-in if possible. This game is noisy. We're gonna go ahead and we'll shut the games off. We're gonna pull the board out and go ahead and put that on. So to get into this, I do need to open my coin door here, and inside the coin door, I do keep the key for the bottom. So we'll go ahead and, what's this key? It's either this key or the other key. We'll find out. And let's see here, is this the one? Let me check. That door down here at the bottom, that's, kind of hard to see, holds that is the key. Has a nice little tray down here for the board and everything on Tutankham, which is great. I love these games with the access in the front. Makes my life a little bit easier. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll pull out the board here. And it is screwed in, so we will need to undo this. And I've got my, as you guys can see, it's a JAMA harness that was in here or is in here. There it is. And with an adapter for the Stern board. So we're gonna pull that off. We'll pull the board out and go ahead and sub everything over. Although I do like the games that are mounted in and with a nice little slide. I mean, to take the board out, that is. This is just screwed in and no big deal. So we'll go ahead and start doing that. And we'll go get our screwdriver and start removing things. So in order to remove this board, there are 4 screws there. And I will tell you that this game had been converted and I converted it back to Tutankham, but I didn't have the original power supply in when I did it. So this is the switching power supply here. And there's some of the remnant wires, this game had been converted so many times, but we are mostly back, minus the power supply and all that stuff. So now we're going to take this out. I've done the 3 screws already. I've got 1 screw left. So we'll go ahead and take this last screw out. And then we can take our board out. There we go. Now, we will need to do a little bit more work on this board to make this possible. We're actually going to have to take out the 6802 processor over here. I believe this is the location. Yep. This is our processor. And I think we'll need to take that out. Unless there's another one in there. Nope. I believe that's the one. Need to take that out and put in a socket. And then we can put our high score save kit in. I mean, you could solder it all back in place, but at that point you might as well put a socket in. So we will need to do a little bit of board work on this one to make it work, which sucks, but hey, we got to do it. So we will do that. So here's the board. I've got my soldering iron, my solder pult, my beer, and let's see, we've got some pajama pants on because we're comfy. And here is the high score save kit. This is the high score save kit. Please correct me because I made a mistake in the beginning. It's not arcadehighscoresaves.com. I know it better than that. It's highscoresaves.com. And I don't know what I was thinking. And this is also the high score save kit for Tutankham. And I said 6802. I don't know what land I was in for the processor, but it's not a 6802. It's a 6809 processor that goes in here. And clearly, I must have had too much drink, but I haven't. This is all I've had. I've had nothing else. But anyway, we're going to get started here. But in order to do this, the way this is going to sit, this is the processor that we need to socket, okay? But in order to actually get the board in, we could take the chip out now, but in order to get it in, we're gonna have to take off this top board here to do that. So we'll go ahead and we'll just start disconnecting everything. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here and a ribbon cable and a power over here. So we're gonna try to be very careful when we do all this because Tim breaks things. So we get this out here. I do like these. And maybe we'll clean some of these contacts while we have it apart because we all know that things could use a good cleaning every now and then. So that ribbon cable is off. We'll take this off if it wants to go. I just, I don't want to break anything today. There we go. All right, that is off. And then we just have to do these 4 screws and we will move the board somewhere else. Oh, you know what? There is, see this right here? There's little nuts here. So if you start unscrewing and you find that things aren't going anywhere, that's because you're gonna need some pliers or something to hold it. Maybe I can do it with my fingers, we'll see. There we go. There is one. Maybe. And you get the idea. We'll do all these. Don't lose your screws. I also like to do that. It's a pastime of mine. Oh, and this one goes all the way through. This is when I probably lose spacers. 1 spacer, 2 spacers, good. Put them back in. Like that, and there's the leg. The foot, rather. And let's go over here. There we go. And the last one. There we go. Set that down carefully. You could stick a piece of cardboard in between. Take this board out of the way. We don't need it anymore. And there we go. We are now off to the races. Well, we're off to this board anyway. This is the chip we are removing. I even thought ahead and got myself, there you go. Got myself another processor in case I break off a leg, because that's probably bound to happen. And we've got a socket. And High Score Saves does sell you both if you need them. And so another chip, another CPU, and a socket. So you've got a backup for when you break it, which I hope I'm not going to do. Well, I keep talking like something bad's going to happen. I have luck. But although I did just fix something else, so I'm feeling good. Okay. So we'll flip it over. And that sticker fell off. We'll need to put that back on. You can see this is the area that we are working in right here. We will zoom in. So this is where we will be. I'm not sure if this has been reflowed or not. It does look like it has some flux on it. Maybe it has been, maybe not. I don't know. Could be factory. I just don't know. Let's have a sip of beer first. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can go through and put solder on everything. That will help. Or you can just kind of go for it with the solder pult. I think I'm gonna play it safe. Now, if you have a fancy thing like a Hacko desoldering tool, you could use that. That will be handy. I think I'm going to go through and put some more solder on, though. I just feel like it might be a good idea. So we've got our solder. We've got our soldering iron. I'm just going to come in on every single one, put like a little dab. And I know I should not be a surgeon. Oh man, the smell of solder. Is this lead free? It doesn't say lead free. Maybe that's why it smells so good. And we'll do the other side. I like to just kind of go up and around when I'm doing something like this. Be nice and quick. We don't want to burn anything off. If I get a cold solder joint here or I short a leg, I don't care because I'm taking it all out. There we go. That was really quick. We just did put some solder on all the legs. Now, I know when I first started doing stuff like this, I never did this. Just because I was like, oh, that takes a lot of time. I'm going to waste precious solder, but it may save us some time in the end because we have a lot of pins to go ahead and desolder. So then I'm just going to go ahead and get my desoldering tool here. So we zoom out for a second. Whoop. This is what I use. I just use a solder pult and ka-chink. It's like a little vacuum for a split second. Pump action, so it does take some time. It can get clogged with solder. You just need to make sure you empty it out every now and then. Yeah, so we're gonna go for it. We're gonna have another beer and have another sip of beer. We should reward ourselves because we did a thing. And in case you're wondering, today's beer is from Greater Good. It's an Imperial. Oh wait, no, it's not Imperial. It's a double dry hopped hazy IPA. But that Greater Good is they're known for doing Imperial style brewing, so higher alcohol content. That was a holiday gift. But all right. Now you know. All right, here we go. You can see sometimes it makes a mess. Oh, it is clogged. On the first one. Look at this. See all that crap coming out of it? Gotta get all that out. I can hear it in there. Look at this. We gotta show this. All that stuff just came out of the solder pult. So, yeah. We gotta sweep that up. Okay. All right, so we're back at it. We emptied out all the junk in there. So, yeah, here we go. We're gonna keep moving on down the line. We're gonna do this first one again. You can see the hole that's there. I don't know if you guys can see that. You probably can't, but anyway, I'll zoom in a little bit. And I'm just gonna continue down the line here. All right, one side is done. Oop. I don't know if you guys can see this, but on the end here, I've got some solder sticking out. It's getting clunged up again. So when that happens, I'm gonna try to take that stuff out. So we've done all of them. We hope that the chip falls right out, which we know it won't. We also just want to double check the orientation of it before we, take it out. So we'll flip it over. We are noting, let's see if there's any sort of screen printing on here. There's not, but they are all going the same way. So all these chips have the notches on the number labeled side. So here's the notch. And we will make sure that when we put everything else in, that the notch is on here, because that's how we orient pin 1. So, and now we see if we can gingerly take it out. Let's will it move? No, of course not. And we want to be careful, because if we're not careful, we could rip out traces. We could rip out vias, the through holes where we're soldering. So we don't want to do that. So we want to take our time actually removing. We may need to come back in with a soldering gun. So I'm actually going to do that off camera, because I know you guys are going to judge me. That way I can drink beer while I do this. And my battery's going to die. Of course, right? All right, we've gone through a little bit of beer here. We recharged the battery. This thing's starting to break free. I am using a Bob Roberts plastic alignment tool because I don't know what's underneath here, and I don't want to scrape a trace using something like a metal screwdriver when I start prying on this. So I've been kind of just trying to get under here, waiting to see if this will pop, and I've started working it out. So it is just about there. There we go. I'm not gonna lie, this took a little bit of time to get it out. So we went through and we did the solder pult again on every single pin, and then I came through with the soldering iron and I pushed down everything slightly, and I was borderline ready to start trying to desolder from the top because I was getting agitated. I have in the past ripped off legs and ripped out these through holes here and ruin traces. So I tried to be very careful this time and actually go and take my time, which is why I had a beer. It helped. But now, I don't know if I'll be able to save this. Some of these legs are a little bent. It'll probably work. I could go through and straighten them. But I do have another CPU. I've got another 6809 that I ordered, knowing that this may happen. This isn't horrible. I have all my legs, actually. So that is good. So this can be saved with some time and effort. But all right, next thing we need to do is put our socket in. But before we do that, we're going to make sure our holes are nice and clean, and we're going to line everything up. Here's our notch that we're going to line everything up with, and that helps us orient the chip in pin 1. So that is important. So now we're going to just go through and we'll clean up. So here's the 6809 from High Score Saves and the 40-pin dual wipe socket that they give you. And if you see here, it does say 40 right there. And it also has a little notch. And that notch is the notch we're going to line up with here. So you can see where you're putting your CPU if you need to. So we're just going to take this out. Set the CPU off to the side. And we'll come in, and we should be able to drop this in place. I like to check to make sure that my pins are straight. So let's see, they're looking pretty good. And then we'll just come in and we'll drop this in place, ideally, right? Should do this left-handed. It should go all the way through. I got a piece of styrofoam here. So that's there. So we'll flip it over. And then I like to think of when I do this as if I'm tack welding something, where you kind of, when you're tack welding, you weld all your key points, and then you go through and fill in, you know, from point A to point B in between the tack welds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I'm going to weld, or not weld, I'm going to solder in the corners for this. That way everything is kind of nice and set. Make sure we've got some solder ready. We'll flip this thing over. We'll snap a picture to make sure Tim's doing it right. Because probably not. Yep, sticker. No, there you go. Talking to myself. The beer is good. Very good. And let's see if it falls out, which it might. Is it falling out? Kind of. So I'm going to take that piece of foam, and we're going to wedge it under there. Probably should take the chip off of it first. Put the new CPU off to the side. Something to keep it in place. It just needs like a little bit of distance between the table and the socket. There we go. There we go. I got all my, oh, nope, I don't have all my pins. That would have been fun. I don't have all my pins here. They're not all going through. All right, let me think about this for a second. Just need something to hold it in place. Let me double this up. Break styrofoam everywhere. There we go. I just need to get a couple key solder points in. Am I all the way through? I'm all the way through. I like to feel it with my finger. Make sure. All right. So now we go ahead and we'll get down low, make sure everything's good. And now we'll come in and just put a few, you know what? Tim, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna take this out for a second. I'm gonna take it out. I wanna make sure, I gotta clean it. This needs to be cleaned up. He's wiped off. There you go. Now I'll do it. First, a beer to steady the hand. Without beer, my hands are pretty shaky. They've always been. My father told me he wanted to be a veterinarian, but he didn't have steady hands. I'm going to come in, we'll do this corner. And we'll do the diagonal corner. And then I'll come up. Maybe. And then our last corner. And remember, when you're soldering, you heat the part and the pad, the solder pad, at the same time. And you should get a nice little cone shape with the pin from the socket poking all the way through to the top. Too much solder, it'll look like a little dome over it. Not enough solder, you could have a cold solder joint, little air bubbles in there. And I like to let the soldering iron just sit there for a second while I do go ahead and let the solder flow through and actually make sure it gets everything. All right, and now that we've got everything there, I'm going to flip it over real quick. I just want to make sure everything's good. We'll remove our styrofoam. We'll show the camera. There we go. We've done our 4 soldered corners. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to make sure that it is still there. Oh, look. It's still there. And now we can have fun soldering all 40 of those pins. Well, 36 to go. We've done 4 already. And now we solder. I hope. Take our time. We'll play some weird music. And yeah, we'll just kind of go to town here. I'm going to start on the far side, I think. So we've done our corners, and now it's just time to come in and put a little bit of solder on everything. And now we inspect our work. We're looking to see if we can find any cold solder joints. I'm not gonna lie, while I'm showing the camera, I can't see anything, so I'm gonna take it off camera and look under a magnifying glass. I think I can see a cold solder joint already, or one I just flat out missed. All right, I think we're good. I'm gonna inspect this and then we'll install the kit. All right, we checked it, it's good. And before I forget, we're gonna put our little sticker back on here for 5F that we can't see. Let me focus it. Here's my sticker. There it is. Sticker. We got to put it back on 5F. And that was just over here. I put some my kids' glue on it, you know, like a glue stick. And maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. But it's going to work for now. All right. Now it is time for the kit. So let's see. Here is the kit. We should put our CPU in it. I'm going to use the new CPU because I bought it. And this way we'll make sure that it works. So we've got our pin 1 here, which means pin 1 will also be going over, so like this, when we line it all up. But we will make sure that our new CPU, which is here, we'll line that up as well. And let me get some styrofoam. Put some styrofoam on the back here, because I did take it off, but I want to put it back on while I'm putting the chip on, so Tim doesn't make a mistake in bending legs. You noticing a theme here? Don't make a mistake. All right, so there's the new one. 6809. I'm just reading the numbers, making sure that it's good. Dust on my fingers from this board. It's still there. So we'll go ahead and we'll make sure that is all lined up. Let's see if we can focus in closer. There we go. I'm making sure this is all lined up. We've got our pin 1, which is this little dot right here in the corner, which is where pin 1 is. It's silk screened on there, so we're just going to go ahead and we'll push this into place. And I like to make sure that foam is there. Helps me, give me some leverage, and we're good. Let me just check it, make sure everything's lined up. I'm just kind of checking the other chips to make sure they're all in the same correct direction, and they are. Just looking at the notches, and I'm looking at the silk screen. I think we're in good shape. All right, so now, check my legs again, make sure you're good. We are, it looks like. I think we're good. And then, to put it in, we just line up our pin 1. Make sure we got this going the right way. And then we gotta be careful here that we don't bend a pin or anything like that. We gotta make sure it's all lined up. And I kind of like to look underneath when I'm doing this to make sure that it is lined up. Because one bent pin and you're gonna have a bad day if it falls off. It's not a repair you want to make on something you just bought. There we go. It is in. All right, there we go. That's it. We've done it. We've done the high score save kit. And now we put the board back together. All right, so it's installed. Well, now we've got to put this soundboard back on, and we know it lines up over here with the ribbon cable. And yeah, that's what we got to do. I'm going to start with the corner with the double spacers here and the leg or the foot, and we'll try not to lose anything. Hopefully our spacers are tall enough with the kit. They did show double spacers when you had the online functionality installed. So hopefully the one spacer does the trick. We will find out. I'll just kind of do this finger tight for now. Sure. All right, so there's that one. Let's do whatever the inner one is, because that's over there, and then I can have it stop rattling around on that. Looks like we're going to be using this hole right here. I think the spacer will be enough. If not, I think I've got some boards I can scavenge spacers off of. And if not, I'll just, if I can get two, I can just cut the spacers in half and make them a little bit longer. There we go. Yeah, that will be fine. Not much clearance, but clearance. But I guess we don't need much. And then do this side, and that will pull this down that way. How is everybody? You guys good? Sure. If you're watching, you found this dead spot, leave a comment below. Say, hey, Tim, found the dead spot. I'm watching you screw, pal. All right, there's that one, one more. And then we're done. Well, we gotta plug in the connectors, and tighten up these screws just a little bit more. But then we are done, because we can put the board back in, and fingers crossed, it works as it should. Man, that would suck if it didn't. Do you guys ever feel like you're doing things, you're like, yeah, piece of cake, totally should work, and you go do it, and then it doesn't work, and you're like, I did everything right, and it's usually something dumb. Like I'm calling it right now, if it doesn't work, it's something dumb I did. But I double checked my work, and you saw me do it. I did it on camera. All right. Last one here. Maybe. Oh, let's just cinch these up. Especially this one's loose. That's better. Man, not much room over there. Like, just misses. All right. Tim, let's take a look at the gap. Oh, there's plenty of room. Look at that. Plenty of room between the boards. So here's the soundboard, and here's the chip, and then there's like a solid almost centimeter gap there. So we are good. We have plenty of clearance. And we can check to make sure that this is in all the way, and I think it is. We are in. All right. Oh, wait. I almost got excited. Let's go put the ribbon cable back in. There we go. And then power cable here. And now, ta-da! We did it! Well, almost. I'm going to go, we'll go take the board back and plug it in. The board is back in place. Kit's installed. I actually screwed it all in too. Hopefully everything is nice and good. Go ahead and put our edge connector back on, and one of these days we will clean up this rat's nest of wiring here because it is pretty bad. It's because it's a JAMA, and then somebody else had converted it to the Capcom Avengers, and I was like, I just want a working game. Yeah. That's it. All right. Let's, yeah. That's it. We turn it on now. Oh, we turn it on now. I'm going to turn off the Neo Geo next to me because it's loud as heck. And Popeye's pretty loud, but it'll be fine. All right. And I'm going to pull the... Oh, yep. It won't turn on until I pull the interlock out. Are we confident? How confident are we? Let's be confident. Let's be super confident in our work today. We'll slide it back in. All right. All right. It is the moment of truth. We'll turn all the games on. Neo Geo's not going to come. I turned it off. Turned that off. But here we go. It turned on. Here, Popeye going. All right. Game ID failure. Dip. Tutankham. Press enter. Push start to enter setup. Ooh, I need to gotta reach over there. I missed it. That's okay. Look at that. It works. We did a thing right. Oh, and it's on free play too. Perfect. Oh, good. All right. Now to figure out how to get into the menu. Because we want to do that. We need to get into the menu. The first time it gets into the menu. Now, and you know what? Now people are going to play it because it has an attract mode. But I don't think people half the time know what the game is. Even my own kids are like, oh, that's that game. I don't know. But now, well, at least I'll play it more. But yeah, we got to get into the setup and change the settings. So let me see if I can figure that out. So I'm going to take a wild guess, and to get back into that setting, I need to shut the game off, and there's an interlock switch on this lower door where the game board is, so I'm just going to loosen that, and we'll turn it back on. Push start to enter setup. We push the start to enter setup. Perfect. It's like on my Donkey Kong 3, you need to hold down the start button, so this is good. So we've got all our settings here. So it is upright. We've got 30,000 points, 3 lives. Difficulty is normal. Flash bomb, 1 per game. No. We want to change that. Do I use the full nope, not 1 player flash button? Oh no, how do I change the settings with my JAMA setup? Oh, the 1 player button does it. 1 per life? Ooh, 1 per life or 1 per game. Let's spoil ourselves rotten and do 1 per life. Demo sounds. Off, on. Those are your choices. It's a little bit different than some of the other kits. So I'm gonna turn them on. We'll see how it sounds. Coinage is free play. Yeah, copyright message, high score saves. Konami. We'll go with Konami. Save all scores, restore high scores. And I'm just using my controls down here. So I'm using the up and down to choose between, and then I'm using my player 1 to make my selection. And I'm using the JAMA adapter, so this is all working the JAMA adapter. Restore high scores. Dip to default. Boot to menu. Oh, that's interesting. Boot to menu is enabled on this one, where on the other one it was disabled. So I guess it just sits on the menu for a minute and then goes to the game. Well, I'm gonna leave that for now. I'm gonna leave that for now. Just reset button. This, I don't know what that does. Off. And that's for the online stuff. And we'll save. Save. Dip saved. I need to adjust my monitor. Looking a little red today, huh, guys? Push start button. Tutankham, save kit 2.2. Push start to enter setup. And then if you just wait, it goes away. Oh, look at that. All the scores are low. I can beat them. I can put up my own high score. Man, it looks really red on the screen and less so in person. I can tell the red's in person. I need to dial that down. Ooh, track sounds. Okay, let's see how obnoxious these track sounds are. Because I'm not playing right now. I bet you it does it like every time it goes through and does this. Yep. I might leave it on for a little bit just to see if I can get some people playing it. And then it's probably going to be off on the high score table and this screen, title screen. Man, these new high scores are way more obtainable because before it's like 30,000 and you're barely breaking the board. Yeah. A lot of track sounds going on. It's either on or it's off. We'll try it for on for a little bit. We may shut it off. All right. Let's celebrate with a sip of beer. And then, you know, play a game. And not be very good, but we get to put our name on the board regardless of our score, so let's do that. All right. The AI in this game is brutal. And this angle that I'm playing at has me not going in the right direction. Come on, you scarecrows. Come on. Oh wait, I've got a flash per life. You could totally utilize the heck out of it. Let's just use it. These little bats are a pain. All right, there we go. We made it. I only used one flash though, so that's good. You know, I think I would probably like this game a little bit better if you could also shoot up. Because you can only go left and right in this game. Which adds a bit of challenge to it. I'm not opposed to a challenge, but Oh, what did the flash I had used. Oh, come on. Doesn't matter, we get to put our name in. Yeah, we're a great explorer. So put our initials in. There we go. We have to push right to go to the next one, which makes sense. There we go. High score. Yay, Tim. That's a lousy score. I've done better than that. But, all right. There it is, guys. Thanks again for watching. We did the Tutankham High Score Save Kit install where we had to pull the board out. And let's see, what else did we have to do? We had to pull the board out. I get distracted with all these attracting that sounds. It's like, look, shining lights and noises. All right, so we had to pull the We had to pull the board out, separate the two boards. We had to desolder the 6809, not the 6802, like I said. And like I said before, I messed up the name. It's highscoresaves.com, not Arcade High Score Saves. I don't even know what I was thinking. I've ordered from them 10,000 times. So, had to desolder the CPU, put it in a socket. Desoldering the CPU is what was the bulk of our time. Otherwise, this would have been really quick and easy. But all in all, you know, not too bad of a job. Maybe an hour of fussing around or less. I mean, I didn't have a desoldering iron or a Hacko. I just used a solder pulse and a soldering iron, and we got it out. And didn't break anything. We used the new 6809 just because the legs were bent and I didn't feel like straightening the other ones out. But I think that one is fine. I'll actually go straighten those out. And then put it in, made sure everything was straight, put that socket in, soldered it in, put the high score save kit in, and we're good. We did it. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. But I highly suggest if you're buying the Tutankham kit, you're going to want to buy yourself another CPU and the socket if you don't have those already. And it's, you know, like $2 or something for the socket and maybe $4 or $5 for the CPU. So worth having that on hand in case you do break something, you have it. So chances are your Tutankham board is not socketed already if it's original. But it could be, who knows. All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and talk to you later.